touch, we break. Make it seem like we feel the same. We love what we hate. We love.
Hey everybody. Did you know that the Roman poet Horace spoke of this many centuries ago while speaking about his friend? In the English language, we have changed the meaning of it slightly, but not too far from the original meaning. Later, Sir Philip of Sidney used it in his book Arcadia, in the sense in which we use it today. What is it? Stick around and find out. Hey everybody, welcome back to Mental Policing. This is Wood, your host. It's me. I have another person here with me. Do you want to tell us your name?
I'm Ashley.
This is Ashley, everybody. I'll get to the little clue that I gave you a little bit later. But for now, you can sit and mull it over and decide if you know what it means. So, the reason why I had Ashley come on is because I look at the analytics of this and I understand that most everybody that watches this or listens to this is related to law enforcement. And specifically, there are more women that watch this than men, and even listen for that matter. So I thought, what better way to engage in that audience than bring another lady on? But it's different than that. It's not just random ladies that you find walking the street. It's a lot of the viewer and listenership are police wives and spouses or significant others or close friends or somebody in their family, a parent. So I wanted to bring one of those people on. So, and if we do good, this is going to be a regular occurrence. So, to break the ice, yes, this is Ashley, and she is my spouse, partner, whatever you want to call her. That. So I'm going to, because we keep these rather short, I'm going to do just a little interview and some very, I think, important questions that I get asked a lot to ask her. So rather than me try and come up with an answer, I'll just ask her. She already knows what they are, so she's had a chance to think about it, but it's different when you're recording. So,
Yes.
first question. Common questions that you get being in a relationship with an officer.
I get a lot of, is it stressful? Do you worry about his safety? I'm trying to think of other ones, but that's the top two. Safety.
Okay. And what is a typical, I mean, obviously, you do, but how do you answer that?
Yes, of course. It's always in the back of your mind. Safety, especially. But you can't dwell on it. I can't think about it. It's not a thought that I leave. I recognize that it's there, but I don't leave it there. I move past it and I just figure I'll deal with it. If in the event it comes, I'll cross that bridge when I need to.
Let's hope it never needs to.
Agreed.
Let's hope that bridge is never built.
Yes.
What is something that you enjoy about being in a relationship with an officer?
There's a lot of camaraderie. We have a lot of friends that we've grown close to. So I like the friendship. They're good people, and it's a it's a prestigious job, so it's people are always like, "Oh, cool. What's it like? What's the craziest thing that you've seen?"
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'll go back to that. What is probably this is a big one, and it kind of goes hand in hand with what's it like being in a relationship, but it's a little more specific. Is what's the biggest struggle?
The biggest struggle is not being able to fix it. So when you come home and you've had a bad day, or you've had to go to a scene that was hard, and I can't fix it. I can't help. I don't know how to help. There's times where we can talk about things, we can discuss it, and it feels easier. I still can't fix it, can't change it, but I feel like I can help somewhat. But there are some times where I can't really help, and I just have to be there when you're ready for me to help. And that's the hardest, is just not being able to fix it and having to figure out what I'm supposed to do with me in those moments.
So
Do I push it? Do I push you? Do I leave you? Do I not leave you, but I mean like leave you be?
Yeah. I know what you're saying. If we go back to episode, I think it's episode PTSD. That I think is that's a big struggle, and I hear that all the time with spouses, is that it's hard to know how much to push and how much to leave. But I think it's, personally, I think it goes towards both people. I think you have to push it, but then I think the officer, male, female, doesn't matter, but I think the officer has to be willing to allow that push. Because if you push back and shut down, or you run away, or you bury in alcohol, or whatever your cause, or whatever you do, I think that's every bit as bad as being a pushy spouse or a spouse that cuts it off. Yes. There has to be some middle ground. So what do you do then to overcome it or deal with it?
Communication. I try to ask, what do you want me to do? What do you need from me in those moments? I try to communicate the best I can.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
I know, I'm trying to think, but.
Okay. What advice would you give? So when we started out together, I was already in the profession, so you didn't see pre-Wood that was running around being just a dumb kid with no job. But you saw me in this, so it's a little different. So you didn't see any of that change. But what advice would you give for somebody either in your position or going into like your position?
I hate bringing it back, but communication is just one of the most important things you can do. Just always talk and try to keep that line of communication open. The benefit of the doubt. Just in trusting that everything will be okay, and trusting each other, trusting that you'll be okay.
My mind wandered for a second, and not because you weren't, but going back to that, the trust thing. I know there's a lot of, I have an episode. It's a few down, and I haven't decided how I want to approach it yet, so I haven't done it. But it's everybody. Well, I think everybody listening will understand the term badge bunny. For you cowboys of friends of mine, I think they're also called buckle bunnies. I'm not a cowboy. It's just something I heard. But so that's real. Like, people like a person in uniform. And so when you say trust, that's, my mind went there. Like, you have to put that trust in that is not being fed into. And if it is, also the communication. It has to be communicated. Nobody likes being confronted about those types of things, but I think it's important that you are confronted. It keeps you honest. It keeps you out of trouble, and it keeps the relationship healthy. So if somebody, I guess it's a kind of hard question. I wanted to say, how would you deal with the transition, but you didn't have a transition period. Aside from communication, what is another bit of advice? I'm putting you on the spot a little bit. I'm adding to my questions.
Other words of advice that I'd give.
Yeah.
Go on dates. Keep that together. Keep your bond together. Keep your closeness together. Don't let life get in the way of the two of you. You have to remember how you started. You have to keep that spark. So
I would say, because I preach this a lot, don't do so many part-time jobs and overtime gigs that you forget that you do have another life.
Yes.
That
spend time together.
See that get in the way a lot. So this is just a brief little chit-chat introduction to Ashley and Wood here. We're probably going to change our seating location in the future, just trying to sort out what feels best, but Ashley's going to be on the coming episodes because I feel like just me throwing this all down it's important, but there's more than just the officer. There's a family, there's a significant other, there's extended family, there's close friends, there's everybody around, and for me to just continually give my own opinion and direction is, while good, I think another one is definitely helpful. So going forward, it'll be a familiar face if you watch live, or a familiar voice if you listen. Either way, I am grateful for all of you that showed up. Keep sending in your emails and your questions, your comments, and don't be afraid to communicate those with me. To go back to the very beginning, what that poet and that author wrote about, well, my better half. So there you go. Guys, this is Wood. This is Mental Policing. I'll see you next time.
Bye.
We touch, we break, make it seem like we feel the same. We love what we hate. We lie, but we know we can't water what doesn't grow. Give up, let it go. Well, we fell apart.